Hey guys, how are you all doing? It's a girl Cindy. Welcome back again to another video. I trust you guys are having a good time today. If you are coming across this channel for the first time, hi, thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. Guys, in today's video, I want us to please talk about the Perfect Neighbor documentary on Netflix. Now, if you are on TikTok, I'm sure you must have seen a couple of videos on your For You page, people talking about this documentary. Stay with me because we have a lot to unpack. So about this documentary, if you have been following me, on this channel, I have reacted to the incident about Ajike Owens. Now, before I made that video, before I did that reaction video, I cried. I literally cried. Because what happened to that Black woman shouldn't have happened to her. Why is it that some people derive joy in taking lives that they did not create? No spoilers here. I'm not here to spoil the documentary. If you want to watch it, please do watch it. If you do not want to, that's fine. Trigger warning, if at some point watching this video and you feel triggered, please click out. Now, personally, I haven't seen the documentary. I haven't watched it, but of course, I'm going to watch it. But I want us to talk about this. And some white people are reacting to it. I have literally seen a lot of videos from white women, some of them crying, which I have put these videos together. Let's just, see people's opinion, their reactions about this documentary. Check these videos out.
This message is for white people who have watched the Perfect Neighbor documentary. Don't just be outraged about what you saw, because this is something that Black families have to talk to their children about, have to raise their children with. They deal with this on the freaking daily. Don't just be shocked and enraged. Change. Learn that Black children get criminalized all the time for behaving like kids, for playing ball in the street, for losing a ball over a fence, for yelling and being loud. And you know that lady was talking to all her friends about this. And imagine if one of her friends had said, it just sounds like they're being kids. Like, start listening to things like that, ask for more information, and then respond. Respond appropriately. Don't just check yourself, check others too. Because that story is absolutely horrific, but it is not unique. Unfortunately, it is not unique. Consider the ways that families of color have to speak to their children and prepare their children for situations like that we as white people don't have to do. Consider if you are having internal feelings of like kids playing in the street, or you feel like scared in a moment or something like that. Think about whether or not you would feel the same if those children were white. Address your internalized racism. Address racism when you see it, and there will be nothing to make a documentary about.
I just finished The Perfect Neighbor. Oh, those poor babies. Just kidding. I thought it was over, and it wasn't. And they started showing all the court footage, and at the very, very end, once they read the verdict, I don't want to ruin it for you. Ooh. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry again. But when that mama hollered out, "My baby," y'all, I felt that right here. If you haven't watched Perfect Neighbor, you need to do it. Have your tissues ready. Don't have anything else to do, because you're going to be so locked into this documentary. The entire thing is nothing but courtroom and body cam footage. And they don't hold anything back. Like, it is so raw. It is so real. You feel every emotion. It took me 2 hours to get through this thing, because I had to just stop and just be like, whoo, woo, that was a good one. That was a really good one. Netflix, you did your thing on that. One more thing. Y'all took the time to build all that suspense, giving that lady that notepad just to finally I was literally sitting there like, if you don't tell me what she said on that piece of paper, y'all, to finally read it. I'm glad she got what she got. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Black folks, I'm going to save you the time. Don't watch The Perfect Neighbor on Netflix. Okay? It is 100% Black trauma porn. You will be angry. You will cry. You will not understand it. It will ruin your day. So I've done the work for you. Carry on. Rewatch Insecure. Turn on The Office. Anything else. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. You're good for the day. Okay, love you, bye.
I just had to pause The Perfect Neighbor. This white Oh my, and I get it, okay? I'm seeing it. I'm not blind. It slipped out. It slipped out. It's not olive oil, bitch. It's a word. It's a slur. You said the N-word to an African-American woman that did nothing but come to your door defending the children that you were terrorizing, not only that night, but for like the last 2.5 years.
It's like that. I was taught that it meant to be unlawful or unpleasant or you were being dirty.
Then say those words. I see your age. I know exactly what the N-word means to you. Oh, and they just knew something was gonna happen. And if it doesn't make you this mad, like, that is your problem. So the N-word slipped out, but the bullet was shot, right? That didn't just slip out. You shot that.
The way she just sat there like she had a choice. Listen, I was yelling at my screen. I just got done watching The Perfect Neighbor on Netflix, and watching how composed she was through the entire things shows you how deeply her superiority ran. The way they coddled her during the interrogation, like they were afraid to upset her. If y'all don't yank her ass up, it definitely shows you how different some people get handled. Then the police had taken her back to her apartment to retrieve her things, and that neighbor came out clearly upset. And the officer said, "Can you please help me make my life easier?" Sir, please fuck off. That was very insensitive. A woman lost her life. Kids lost their mother. The neighborhood is shaken. And honestly, there was one part I really felt like I could have went without seeing. That was towards the end when the father was about to tell the children the mom was gone. That was grief in its rawest form. I could feel the tears filling my eyes. It felt wrong seeing it, I'll be honest. She looked up the stand your ground law. She purchased the gun in the midst of all the drama. She pulled the trigger only 2 minutes after making the initial 911 call. That wasn't fear, it was premeditation. Overall, it was a great documentary. Powerful, uncomfortable, but necessary to watch.
Okay, so I watched The Perfect Neighbor last night on Netflix, the new documentary. That's pretty much all body cam footage. It's actually 98% body cam footage. And I have the most, like, I can't stop thinking about it. And here's my main takeaway that I think is such a reflection on, like, if you like true crime, if you like documentaries, if you like any real life storytelling. This is the first documentary I've ever seen where, because of the nature of the content, it was 100% unbiased. What I mean by that is there was no one sitting in a seat telling you what to think. It was all you watching the perspective of what happened, like in real time if you were there. Now, of course, it was edited together. There's gonna be somebody that's, curving a bias. But it was the first documentary I've ever seen where I was like, oh, I'm making up my opinion as I go along without anyone telling me what to think, and I'm watching it in real time. And obviously, my main takeaway is what a lovely neighborhood. Genuinely, seeing the kids playing football, seeing them all getting together, seeing the parents out there. I was like, I would love to be in this neighborhood. And that woman deserves way more jail time.
That was not manslaughter. That was premeditated murder. I don't care what y'all say. And baby, when they asked that little boy, was he okay? And he said, yeah, but my heart is broken. When I say that my heart broke. And to top it off, when the dad had to let those kids know that their mom was not coming back, and to see the way that those children broke me down. Let me tell y'all, I don't care what nobody say. That woman planned everything that happened. It was premeditated. You cannot tell me from the time she said, go get your mother. You understand where I'm coming from? Here's the thing. You wasn't able to find your phone, but you was able to find your gun. All right. And then her story switched up. There was no remorse. There was no empathy. She gave absolutely no fucks. And that little letter she wrote, she could have shoved that up, where. The fact that these people even had that much body cam footage to even create a documentary is absolutely diabolical, and it says a lot about her character and who she was as a person. All I can say is rest in peace to that young lady, and she stood on business when it came to her kids. If you have not seen the documentary, it is on Netflix, and it is called The Perfect Neighbor. And before you watch it, you might as well grab a box of tissues because you are going to cry the entire time.
We got to talk about how racist white people can't stand it when a single black woman moves in next to them, or a black family at that. Because you see, this documentary, this isn't a one-time occasion. This happens a lot, and I'm going to share my experience. When I built my house in this neighborhood, I was single, and When I tell you I became the topic of conversation, the main character, these white people started fucking with me in ways that I never thought that they would. They vandalized my property. They stuck signs in my yards to mess with me. They would try to stalk me and watch me on social media to see where I was at so that they could mess with my yard. Called the police when I had a gathering that hadn't even started yet. There were 2 people at my house when I get a knock on the door. For what? There's no noise, there's no music playing. Reported me to the HOA, I think about 20 damn times at least. And then it was the weird shit like, oh, I get a new car and now all of a sudden y'all all get new cars within the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's not a coincidence. Then the girl next door to me has the audacity to call my mom the B word, to call her out her name out of nowhere. At this point, I've been bullied by these people for years. And we had to call the cops and they had to set them straight. If you ever talk to her again or say anything to her, you will be arrested. Because that's how much of an obsession they have to mess with me when I have done what to you except be black? I have done what to you except be black and successful? When I tell you it burns their asses when a single black woman is living in a place that they don't think we should live, is doing the things that we shouldn't be able to do. Because how are you living next to me and you don't have a man in the house? Why are you driving a nicer car than me? Why are you dressing better than me? They cannot stand it. And it becomes dangerous, like this documentary, because all that was racism. Racism and the fact that you can't stand that the person living next to you does not look like you. Now, I know some of y'all gonna come, oh, not all white people are like that. No, I know not all of y'all are like that. But it happens.
My mom was murdered by my neighbor. That Netflix documentary that is like the perfect example of what I experienced. So back when I was 15, my mom was killed by my neighbor. I was shot. My brother was shot. But when I try to explain the story to people, because people always be like, well, why did she do that? Why did she do that? Why did she do that? I personally could not finish the documentary. I only got to, I don't know how many minutes in. I'm only a few minutes in, but I had to turn it off because it's way too triggering for me. But if you watched it, how psychotic that lady was, that's what I experienced. So when I try to tell people, like, I don't know why this lady just flipped out and why she was acting the way she was acting, people just, they give me like a little side eye, like, there must be more to it. But it's not it. People really have evil, manipulative ways in them. My scenario was a little different. I wasn't necessarily dealing with a Karen, but as far as their evil, they are the equal. They equal in evil. In my case, it's a little different because the person that actually pulled the trigger was my neighbor's husband, but the girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever the case is, I don't know if they're legally married, but I'm just going to say husband. But the wife was the aggressor. She antagonized everything. And when I say this lady in this video, this Netflix documentary, same attitude. So yeah, it's just so crazy seeing this happen. And I'm just like, I know this lady. Like, I know what type of lady this is. I witnessed this shit firsthand. And my heart goes out to those kids. Like, the absolute worst way. I was 15 and I'm witnessing this. And witnessing my brother could have got shot and killed in front of me. Me getting shot 4 times myself. This shit is just crazy. Like, I can't even finish my sentence because it's just so triggering. And just looking at what I went through in a different view, it's just, I don't know. I can't really explain it, but That neighbors, that's just pure evil. And like I said, just seeing that displayed in another person, that evil in another person, goes to show what really is walking amongst us. My heart goes out to those kids. I still struggle with that. My mom was my best friend. I literally just cried a few days ago. The grieving just doesn't stop. But like, I can't put it in words. So unfortunately, I will not be finishing the documentary. I don't plan on finishing the documentary. I experienced that enough in my life. But if you watch it, that's just giving a little insight. But prayers to those babies and their families and all the victims involved.
Oh, Susan is going off from behind bars right now. You know the old lady who took the life of those 4 children's mother? You know her from The Perfect Neighbor? Yeah, she's going off because she said Netflix never got her permission to talk about her, to use any of those videos, you know, the videos that was actually on police cams. And she wants some money because they haven't offered to pay her yet. And she wants a cut of what they get. Isn't it odd that she was taking pictures and videos of those children without their permission, without their parents' permission? Maybe she should have to pay a sum to everybody involved on that. Like every child that she took a picture of, she should have to pay them something for that picture. I don't know if she's really thinking this through, you all, because it's apparent that she's not all, because she didn't think through what she done. And I can't believe some of the people in my comments of my other videos saying, well, I blame the kids. What do you mean you blame the kids? You blame the kids for being kids? Are you serious? And saying that the mom had to have done that, whatever. Listen, it was 2 minutes, you all. 2 minutes. Those who didn't hear didn't watch the documentary, didn't hear what they said. It took 2 minutes from the first time she called to the second time she called. My exact thought on that, I don't think I said it, is she told that little boy, and by the way, she had broken that iPad, you all, with that skate. And she told the kid to go get his mother, which is what he done. And he walked back with her. And she just right off, pew, pew, pew. The whole thing was set up. You cannot convince me otherwise. It was absolutely premeditated. That woman, AJ didn't have time to do all that shit that she said. And I really think that, to be honest, Susan got off really easy. But anyway, yep, Netflix. Y'all scared? She gonna come after your money, honey.
Was anyone else completely shocked by the verdict at the end of The Perfect Neighbor, the new documentary on Netflix? I was completely shocked by the verdict because they were setting it up for it to be like a George Zimmerman situation. They're like, this woman lives in Florida. She used the stand your ground law. She's a white woman who shot her unarmed black neighbor. I was just like, I think we all know how this is going to end. So when the cops released her, at first I was like, yep, this is going exactly how I thought it was going to go. And then when they arrested her and she actually went to trial, I was like, well, it's in Florida. She's going to get away with it. Like, no question, right? Because I'm so conditioned to expect white people committing violence against black people in Florida to face absolutely no consequences. When the guilty verdict came out, I was completely shocked. I felt relief. I mean, this is not a movie where you're going to walk away feeling good, but I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they got her. I can't believe it. And the fact that she went away for 25 years, I was shocked. There is a pretty huge detail that was missing from the Netflix documentary, The Perfect Neighbor. And I think it really explains the outcome in a way that I didn't realize before until I heard it. Now, we were all, I think, a little bit confused about the details around the iPad, right? It seemed like Izzy's mom went over to Susan's house to bang on the door to get her son's iPad back. Now, when you read the arrest warrant, that's not actually what happened. What happened in the arrest warrant, it says, is that Susan came out of her house. She saw Izzy and possibly the other kids playing in the yard. She threw a roller skate at him and hit and broke his iPad. She then said to him, go get your mother. So Izzy runs and gets his mom and brings her over to the door And that's when Susan shoots her. So Susan 100% set this up so she would have the opportunity to kill this woman. And I think that explains why she was put away for so long.
We are not treating Karens the way that we're supposed to treat Karens. We need to recognize that Karens or Susans are extremely violent people. A lot of times we handle Karens or like they're just annoying and they're, you know, we know that some of them are racist or whatever the case is. And we just treat them as like these pestering human beings. But in reality, they are violent and they are dangerous, and we need to handle them as such. Especially with the documentary that just dropped about AJ Owens, that mom that Karen shot and she left behind 4 kids. Think about it, right? She continued to call the cops on these little black kids. And I think in her mind, she wanted to paint the picture that these little children were violent. And I think that woman wanted the cops to show up and unalive one of those children. And when the cops showed up and saw through her bullshit and decided to go on their merry way and go do work somewhere else, she decided that she was going to do it. And in her mind, and this is where how dangerous they are. In her mind, she truly believed that she was going to get away with it. Because even when the cops came back in the room and said, yeah, we're going to go ahead and need you to stand up because you're going to come with us, you're under arrest, she said no. Because in her mind, she didn't do anything wrong. That is why I'm saying these Karens, these Susans are dangerous. And we should not be pacifying them and acting like, oh my God, you being a Karen, and just like try to irritate them. No, they need to be handled as dangerous, violent people. Because someone who goes out their way to continuously provoke, it's like death by 1,000 cuts, right? That first cut, it doesn't feel like anything. That second cut, like that is what they're doing. And every time they get called out, they get to start. Shut your ass up. They need to be held to account. I don't understand why police officers don't have like something for wasting resources. I don't know. That's just my thought. Like, even we, by just calling them Karens, it minimizes how dangerous they are.
What black mama ain't gonna come check you about her kids, especially if you fucking with them? Last night on my night off, I watched The Perfect Neighbor, and I felt some type of way because I know for a fact that my mama knocked on doors about me and my brother. So like I said, last night on my night off, The Perfect Neighbor came across my Netflix. And I didn't know what the hell it was going to be about, so I read the synopsis and I watched the preview. And within the first couple of minutes of watching the documentary, after seeing Susan, or whatever her name is, and AJ, I already knew what was going to happen. I know for a fact that my mama knocked on doors. And my mama knocked on, there were 2 particular doors that I remember my mama knocking on. There was a door that she knocked on from, I got into a fight when I was a kid on the school bus. And it was a one-on-one fight, but the kid tried to stab me, and then the kid tried to stab me in the neck with a pencil, and it scratched up my neck real bad. So when I got home, my mama wanted to know what the fuck happened. And when I told her what happened and that I actually won the fight, she still went and knocked on his mama's door to talk to her directly about why your son is trying to stab my son in the neck. The other time she went and knocked on the door that I know about was somebody fucking with my brother. And my mama went over there and cussed out the mama and the daddy and invited both of them outside with all the apartments watching. Because if you're in the hood, you already know what happens when people come outside to fight. And my mama was rowdy. And I am not painting a picture that AJ was rowdy, because they really did not go into who she was prior to her being murdered. They really didn't go into who she was as a person, who she was as a mother. They really didn't spend a lot of time showing us that side of her. All we know is that this black woman who had 4 children, she was standing up for her kids and now she's dead. And the lady who shot her got off with manslaughter. She wasn't convicted as a murderer. She was convicted as someone who committed manslaughter. And in my opinion, it needs to be 100% murder because you shot that lady behind a locked door. And the fact that she changed her story so many times during the interview, and even after they told you that she was killed and you knew that this woman had kids, she never apologized. She never said, I'm sorry. The shit that she went on that pad for her kids was bullshit. And this is the thing that I am going to say, is because I am never ever going to fault a black mother for standing up for her kids because my mama stood up for me. But what I will say is that I just want y'all to think about what could possibly happen if things don't go the way you think they're gonna go. And the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because I remember seeing circumstances that my mother got herself into, and then your kids having to watch you in a situation where you're either being hurt or could possibly be hurt. That's going to cause your children trauma. And the fact that this child saw his mother get killed while trying to protect him, I don't think that that's something that young man is ever going to be completely healed from. Because y'all showed that black trauma, y'all better make sure that y'all compensate them people too. Because I did a little research, and apparently she got 25 years for killing Adre, but the family came back around and they sued her civilly. Hit her ass in the pockets, make sure she don't have a drop of money left to spend on anything. All her money needs to go to AJ's 4 kids. But like I said at the top of this video, what black mother ain't gonna come check you about her kids, especially if you fucking with them? But black mothers, as a son of a black mother who is still alive, please think about what could possibly happen and the things that your kids are gonna possibly see you do or possibly happen to you before y'all just go out here and think that you just... Black women protecting your kids, just be safe, please. That's it. That's all. Bye.
So I took some screenshots of comments randomly so you guys can see what other people said. You can please pause to read these comments if you want to. So I just want to say what I said earlier, that when the news about AJ broke out on TikTok, I cried. I struggled to make a video about her. I was literally in tears. Few days after, AJ's passing, my kids were at my garden, playing football. And, the ball went over to my neighbor's house. And my kids, I was in the kitchen cooking, and then they came to me and said, Mom, our ball went over, to our neighbors. And I looked at them. What would I have done? I just told my kids, Daddy would buy another ball. Let that one go. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. It should be that their mom, my kids, they've told me that their ball went over to our neighbors. So why can't I just go over there, knock, and explain to them, and they will happily give me back the ball? But I was scared of going. Why is it this way? Just because of the color of my skin. Just because of the color of Ajike's skin. Kids will always be kids. Kids do come outside, playing and all of that. Why are you so sad seeing these kids happy? Why? I don't know what to say anymore. If you can watch the documentary, go ahead. If you can't, that's fine. but it is trending and I see the way people are talking about it. I thought to make this video again. Anyways, you guys, I thought to react to this. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. This is a reaction video to the documentary and I want to know if you have watched it. Please let us know in the comment, and remember, no spoilers, but then feel free if you want to watch it. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you all think again in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, share, comment, and of course come back for another one. I'm gonna see y'all in my next video. Y'all have a lovely day. Bye.